You're the average of the 5 people you spend most of your time with. Human beings are very impressionable. We rub on one another, and in many ways, if you are hanging around people at the moment, there's a good chance that you are the average of the 5 people you spend most of your time with. So either spend time, quality time, with people that are going to elevate you, uplift you, or do not spend any time with humans, because you could spend time with other entities, non-human entities. So don't settle for mediocrity, go for broke. What do I mean by go for broke? Be selective about your human interactions. Now, when I say that, I'm not saying, well, ignore if you're in a street or something and some random stranger comes up to you and strikes up conversation. No, you be open. Don't ignore. But when I'm saying be selective, I'm saying about the people that you know. Here, I got another chair here. See, right here, I got a table and 2 chairs. All right, so if somebody sits on this chair here, there's a good chance here we're going into an hour, 2, 3 hours of conversation. So that's what I mean by be selective, because now that's you're bringing somebody close to you into your life. So that's what I mean by be selective. Either spend it with people whom you see as sources of light, people that you maybe see yourself in, people that you feel like you resonate with, or I suggest is to not spend time with humans, not in a close, intimate way. Keep your interactions basic. If the human beings, the particular human beings that you would like in your life are not available, then I would stick to solitude and non-human friends. I had the privilege for the last 2 weeks before moving to this place. I had the privilege to spend time around dogs. There were dogs, a lot of dogs there, and I never had a dog of my own. And I had the chance to spend some time with dogs. I had these 2 dogs, a male and a female, and right about the second night, they came over and they just hang out for all 2 weeks. They just hang out there. They'd come, they'd sleep there. We'd just be hanging out together all day. And it's so bizarre how about a week in, it's so bizarre, I started to become territorial. It's like I was becoming one of them. So whenever they had like duels with the other dogs, because you'd hear them suddenly, they're like, oh, 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 right? They're sort of having their own battles or their own duels with the other dogs. I would sort of go on the balcony and I'd be like, ready, like nobody's fucking with these dogs. We're like family now. And I started becoming territorial, like them, because they're very territorial. I started becoming territorial. But I also started becoming like very lovey-dovey at the same time, because when we're there together, I just sort of play with them and kiss them and pet them, etc., etc. So I was starting to feel even my interactions with humans and this, they sort of became more intimate. Like I'd go buy coconuts and I'd just be extremely friendly to the owners, the sellers, the shopkeepers, right? Because I've been hanging out with dogs. So I've just sort of that sort of lovey-dovey thing I was becoming that, but I was also becoming more territorial. You see, so it was funny to see how just being around dogs who are not our communication is different than say with a human, and I was starting to become like them, like a dog. And I suppose in their own way they were becoming like me also. I was becoming like them, they were becoming like me. And I reckon if the dogs were mean, they were very lovey dogs, very lovey-dovey. I reckon if the dogs were mean, I would have possibly started to become a little mean myself. They weren't mean. They were very lovey-dovey, and so we were lovey-dovey together. But I mean, if that was like a mean dog, let's say, if those two dogs were like very mean, vicious dogs, and I was hanging out with them for 2 weeks, I probably would have picked up on some of that behavior as well. You see? So that's just dogs. I spent 2 weeks with dogs. That's about it. I mean, humans, we get more intimate together because we're humans. We communicate with words also. We communicate in more intimate ways, right? So we really rub on each other. So I suggest that either you spend time with, if we're talking in an intimate manner, that you spend time with people whom you want to become. Okay, it's people who you want to become more like. Spend time around, or just don't spend time around humans in that way at all. I suggest that you stick to solitude, and in solitude, you will be able to connect with multiple realms, multiple planes of existence in which you can be in intimate contact with non-human friends. Okay, that's angels, that's spirit guides, that's your higher self as well. The only way you're gonna get in touch with your higher self is actually in solitude. So if you want to befriend your higher self, if you want your higher self to be one of the 5 folks that you hang out with, that you spend time with, that you want to be the average of, the only way you're gonna access your higher self is in solitude and in silence, in meditation. So in many ways, you don't even really need to hang out with 5 people that you look up to, becoming. You could just do it all in solitude. You could all just do it on your own. You could be in touch with Jesus. I mean, you could be in touch with Jesus. You can hang out with Jesus. You can hang out with Lao Tzu. See, right now, I'm in the position in this current moment of being in solitude. I do not really have any I don't really have any intimate relationships at the moment. Last month I had my brother. He was here, so my brother was one person I was hanging out with every day. A couple of months ago, I got in, was it 2? No, more, a little more. 3 months ago, I was in the company of this woman that I talked about in previous videos, that we sort of got intimate. And yeah, I was in the company of that woman on a daily basis. So that was one person, one human, direct human contact. Before, when I was in Canada, I had several friends there I was in contact with. But right now, I'm finding myself in the position of solitude. And so because I'm in solitude now, I'm able to connect with higher self because I meditate more, I spend more time in silence. I'm able to communicate with, like for example, I'm currently reading the book Man's Higher Consciousness, as you will see in this channel, because I'm basically making it an audiobook. I'm currently hanging out with Hilton Hutima. I think that's his name. Hutima Hilton or Hilton Hutima, doesn't matter. I'm hanging out with him because I'm reading his book. So I'm hanging out, so that's one person. I'm hanging out with higher self because I go into meditation. I meditate a lot. I meditate, for hours, 2-3 hours every day, and I'm able to channel higher self. I'm also in the company of Ra, which is a 6th density entity, because I'm also listening to the book The Law of One. So the beautiful thing about the internet, about technology, is you could hang out with people by reading their books, by listening to them, by channeling them, etc. So it's like, actually, it's funny because the internet, I'm not gonna lie, the internet is really contributing to me having no real desire for direct human contact, because it connects me with the humans that I want to be connected with telepathically. This is just telepathy in technology. That's all, and this is telepathy. Okay, so I have to say, the internet is really contributing to my ever diminishing desire to be in direct physical contact with humans. Because I mean, I could just go here like right now. Here we go. Let's see, who am I really who am I in contact with right now? I'm in contact with, let's find out his actual name. Is it so here I'm currently Man's Higher Consciousness. I get the PDF, and let's look here. Professor Hilton Hutima. I'm right now, due to the internet, I am becoming the average of the 5 people. So that's one person I'm hanging out with, one human. Prof. Hilton Hutima. Professor Hilton Hutima, right? So I'm reading his book, I'm hanging out with him. Thanks to the internet. I don't need to look for a teacher or a guru or this or that, or man, I need somebody in my life right now that somebody I look up to, that I want to become more like, that I want to take on their knowledge. No, it's like right here. Right here. That's one of the 5 people, let's say. You know, that's Hilton Hutima, right? And who else am I hanging out with these days? I'm hanging out with higher self, because I meditate and I'm able to get into these states where I could channel higher self. I'm hanging out with Ra. I listen to the book The Law of One. So who am I hanging out with? Ra. It's all here and now. It's all in the present moment anyway, right? Who else am I like hanging out? I guess that's who am I hanging out for now. Not five, three people, I suppose. 3 people that I'm hanging out with, that I'm becoming the average of. I'm becoming the average of Ra. I'm becoming the average of Hilton Hutima, and I'm becoming the average of higher self. You're never alone. You're never alone. But because we cling on to our human identity, we think we're human beings. Oh, I'm a human being, I must be around humans. So like last week, it was actually five. Actually, it was 5. It was the 2 dogs that I was hanging out with, in Hilton Hutima and Ra and higher self. So actually, before moving to this place, I was hanging out with 5 entities, not necessarily people, entities, of which one of them happens to be a human, telepathically. Think of technology as telepathy. One of them happened to be a human, and 2 of them happen to be non-physical entities, non-physical beings, higher density physical beings, and 2 of them happen to be dogs. And I watched myself over the last couple of weeks become the average of these 5 people. Not people, 5 entities, 5 beings, let's say beings. Okay, so a better quote would be, you're the average of the 5 beings you spend your time with. That's a better quote. That's a better way of saying it, because it doesn't have to be humans. But again, because we're so in amnesia, we don't know true self. Self is all. So we think we're humans. So we cling on to this human identity. And then because we cling on to this human identity so much, then when we think of company, we think it has to be human beings. To the degree of which you're attached to your humanity solely as human is to the degree to which you identify company as human beings. Okay? To the degree to which you're God, you're all. So you could hang out with different parts of you, okay? Different parts of you. Doesn't have to be necessarily humans. It could be humans and non-humans. Like, you know who's gonna replace those dogs? I come to find out pretty quickly actually who. Is me coming to this place. There are so many trees around me here. So many trees. Wherever I'm looking, there's trees everywhere. That actually, I took a walk as I moved to this place yesterday. I took a walk here around in the evening, and I started to hug the trees. Something I haven't done in a while. And so I think what's gonna happen now, that because due to the new circumstances that I'm in, is I'm going to be hanging around trees more now too. Because they're all around this resort. Everywhere is trees. And wherever I'm looking, trees, and so it looks like that now I'm going to start becoming the average of trees as well. Because I am all. I am God, I am all. So I get to hang out different parts of me according to the moment, according to the needs of the moment, according to the flow of the moment. And currently, I really not that I am at all, I mean, there are some spectacular humans out there, right? Currently, I am hanging out with Professor Hilton Hutima, right? God bless his soul. You know, you guys will see his book. You know, it'll really blow your mind. I'm making an audiobook on it here in this channel, so just keep an eye for it. You know, after finishing the book, then I'll see other human beings, other spectacular human beings that have graced us with knowledge and wisdom, and I'll hang out with that human being. See, I love technology because it doesn't have to be, I don't have to go seeking for some teacher in the Himalayas or some guru or some this or some that. It's all available here. There's some spectacular human beings you can hang out with via the internet. It doesn't have to be physical. Again, the more you're identified with your physical being, the more you think everything has to be physical. You know, if you want to hang out with Saeed, if that's a human being that you find you want to be in the company of, we never have to meet in person. Right here, just keep watching the videos. Right? We don't have to. We don't have to be in a physical proximity. It doesn't have to happen. Just watch the videos. That's good enough. We don't ever have to be in, everything is one, we're all connected always. It's all in here and the now. So if you find Saeed a spectacular human being that you would like to become more like him, let's say, then because when you hang out with Saeed via these videos, you're also hanging out with Hilton Hutima, because Saeed's hanging out with Hilton Hutima, and you're hanging out with Ra. So you see how it's all connected? You see how it's all connected? So you don't actually have to be in physical contact with anything or anyone. You never really have to. It's not a necessity. It's not a must. And it doesn't have to be humans. So I'd like to rephrase this common saying. Instead of saying you're the average of the 5 people you spend time with, you're the average of the 5 beings you spent most of your time with. Or let's say even better, you're the average of the beings you spend time with. So pick the beings. They don't have to be humans. They can be humans. It can be a mix. And it's always nice that it's a mix. So you're more in contact with different parts of you because you're all of it. Remember, you're not primarily a human being. Not even secondarily. You're like, it's like an identity down there. It's like you're God, you're all. And then you're the formless, the shapeless. And then you're a soul. That would be your secondary identity. You're an individual soul. And then you're a human being. And there are some spectacular human beings alive. You can hang out with them in person, you can hang out with them telepathically, you can hang out with them in meditation, you could channel Jesus in your meditation. Or you could go read or listen to A Course in Miracles, who was a channeled material by Jesus. You can hang out with Buddha. Just go and read some of the Buddhist texts, or just, again, you could channel Buddha in your meditations. There's some spectacular human beings that are alive, that have graced us, that are continue to grace us now, that are alive. And you can hang out with them, but it doesn't even have to be physical. And it doesn't even have to be a human. You can hang out with Ra. Ra is a 6th density entity. Very wise. Go listen to the book, The Law of One. It'll look different at the world, you know, change your perception. Change your perception. And I want to thank all the Patreons for your continued support. I love you guys. If you got a couple of bucks a month you want to spare, you like this community, and again, you've got a couple of bucks a month that you could throw our way. The link is down below in the description. You could also make one-time donations via PayPal. I love you guys. Saeed Mubaid at Instagram, and until next time, may the force be with you.